What's up guys, so today we're going to learn how to use Firebase Realtime Database, and for that we're going to create a Next.js app using Firebase Realtime Database. So we're going to do a live poll app. Think of it like a Twitch voting polling app, and it will be real time. We'll test that using like multiple incognito browsers. So let's get started. All right, so first let's just create a new Next.js app. So we'll do npx create next-app at latest. So it should give us the latest app or the Next.js app. So it says 15.1.6. I will be doing that. To name it, I'll just do a poll app. Do I want to use TypeScript? Yes. ESLint? Yes. Tailwind? Yes. Source director? Yep. App router? Sure. Turbo pack? Sure, why not? And then import alias, I'll just do the recommended no. All right, so this is downloading and we're getting set up. But in the meantime, we're just gonna create the project in Firebase. So if you don't have a Firebase account, first I suggest you create a Firebase account, and then from there you'll get something like this to create a project. So let me just create one. I'm gonna name it real-time poll. You can name it whatever you want pretty much, but I'm just going to do that. I will not be enabling Google Analytics because we're just going to be creating a test app. All right, now while the project is being created, we have our next here, our Next.js app. So now let's just cd into it. Now it's clear, and then we'll just run npm. Let's check out package.json. So we're going to build the dev with turbo pack. So npm run dev. All right, so I'm just going to run in localhost 3000 here, and I already have that running. So here we go. Our localhost is working. Cool. At the same time, our project is created in Firebase. Let's just go check that out. All right. So now once you see a screen like this, we have to do a couple of things. First things first is this is a web project, so we can create web, and then we have to give it a name. So we'll just do a poll app in this case, and we don't need Firebase hosting for this. If we need it later, we can do it, but for this one, we're not doing any hosting. Perfect. Now to add the SDK, we have to run a couple of these commands. First things first, let's do an npm install. So I'm just going to stop the server, and then I'll install Firebase. Well, while that's happening in the background, we have to copy this as well. So for that, let's go to source, and I'm going to create a new folder, call it lib, meaning like libraries. And then here I'll create a new file. I'll call it Firebase. So we're going to put all the Firebase, at least this Firebase settings here. All right, so now our Firebase is set up. The one we're going to use today is Realtime Database. Cool. And one thing just to note, Firebase does give us this config here, but if you're doing a production app, or if you're going to deploy it to like, or even if you're just going to push it up to GitHub, you don't want to expose these secret keys. So for that, just make sure you do create a .env file, and then put your env, and then just reference it right here using process.env, and then .next public, whatever the key name is. Cool. You can also read that in the blog if you want more details. So that blog will be in the description. All right, so before we get into code, I just want to set up the real-time database, because this is actually not set up just yet. When you first created a Firebase project, nothing is really set up here. So, and the way we went there again, it's just down here in all products, time database. So for now, I'll just make it a little bit bigger so it looks like a normal UI for you guys. So we're just gonna click create database, and since I'm in the US, I will just select the US. So we'll be starting in test mode, and you wanna configure these rules, but you can't do it just yet. So first, let's enable it, and then we go to rules here. And for this, I'm going to copy and paste it from the blog. So it's just going to set to true and true. That just means that I can actually read and write to this. And since this is just for like a local test app, this is fine, but for production, this is not fine. So you want to actually set things up properly. Anyways, we're not going to go through that right now. All right, so now we're going to start doing some coding. So first, I just want to create a new folder. I'm going to create a new folder called poll, and then just to make it kind of clean, we'll create, since we are creating a poll, then here we'll be putting a page. So the routing is going to be /poll/create. All right, so first of all, it's going to be a use client. And to start off, we're just going to import use state from React. And what else do we need? So we're going to use router here. This is from Next.js. Now let's import our Firebase stuff. So let's just get the database for a second. For now. So we'll do we put it at lib/Firebase. And we are gonna need ref as well. So just gonna get this for now. Firebase/database. Let's start building the app a little bit. Export default function. And we're going to call this create. And first, let's just return. We want to return a div. And we'll just do poll create. My VS Code is lagging a little bit, but that's fine. And let's do a title. Set title. Do a use state. Just gonna set up my local states real quick. So const, and we're gonna have a couple of choices. Also set choices. And we'll use state ken. And this will be an array of strings. This will be just an array of strings. I think we have to initialize it with 1, but we'll find out later. And then of course we'll just do a router, so we have this for now. Alright, so let's see if we can get this page to load. First of all, we gotta not install it, gotta run developer. This is gonna be localhost 3000 /poll/create. Okay, so this is the URL for this. Nice, and we have poll create, meaning this is working. All right, let's start filling out the inside of this. Let's just start with a title. Let's do create any poll. Nice, and then we'll need a input. Let's say if type is, text. And then we'll do a placeholder. The styling we'll get to a little bit later, so we won't mess with the styling just yet. And then for now, the value just be empty title, or whatever the title is. So this is gonna be controlled by the local state. And then on change, we're just gonna do the event, whatever this is, and then we'll just do set title so we can update it. And then we'll call e.target.value. And we'll just close it. Also have a h1, we have an input. Alright, so we have something here. And you know what, let's just do a little bit of styling right now. So we'll do a class. For this one, let's just start with a flex. We'll do some gap 4. Styling CSS, it's really preference. It's not the point of this course, but we're just gonna add some stuff here, so it's gonna fly by because I have this for my blog already. All right, so I just want to center it, and then for a title, let's make it slightly neater. We're just gonna do font black and text center. Cool, that looks better. We'll do another class here, so we'll do the same thing here, text black. Padding is equal to 4, and then we'll also put a border just to have a little fun with this. Nice. We have the input, we have a title. Now let's start adding a couple of things. So let's first start with the button, and then I'll just start off with a class name. So I already know the styles here. So border 4, padding 4. We'll do on click. It's going to be a function that we haven't created yet, so we're just going to call it add choice. So if you click this button, you're going to add this to the choice state. All right, so we're going to put another button. just to be a little bit save time, I'll just create another one. And then here, this is going to be the actual button to create the poll. So this one, we can use the same styles. So we'll just do a create poll. All right, so now this is gonna, if I save this, this is gonna break. So let me just create these functions for now. Let's do a create. Actually, let's start with add choice. That one's simple. Add choice is simply just going to be a anonymous function where we just set the choices, and we'll just do first, we'll just spread choices, meaning whatever choices that was already there, we're just going to get those, and we're going to add another empty one. So that's the first function. The other function that we want is going to be called create poll. So this one is actually going to make a call to our Firebase. So we want to do async. First, we can do a couple of things. Let's get the poll ID. So this is, you can do this a lot of ways, but I'm just going to use the date now because this is going to be unique to when it was created. For production, it's not going to be unique if people create the poll at the same time, but for testing purposes, it's going to be unique. Cool. Now let's do poll data, const poll data. What is the poll data that we want to save into our database? I'm just going to do title. And then I want something called a choices. So for choices, we're just going to do a choices.map. So it's going to be an array of all the choice. And I just want to format it a little bit. So for each choice, we just want to add it as like an object. And this choices to text is the choice. So whatever choice it was, that's going to be a name, the text. And then we'll do a count. So what this really means, you'll see it in a bit, but what I'm doing really right here is all the choices that we have created, we're just going to set it as a text, what the name of the choice was, or the text of it was. And then here we're just going to count. So every time someone votes on it, the count updates by 1. Cool, so choice is there. And then I'm just going to do a poll submits to get an idea for how many people have submitted the poll or made a vote, right? Then that way we can do something like calculations. So if there's like 1 vote out of 10, that's 10%. And this just makes it slightly simple. Cool, so now since we have prepared the data we want to send off, let's create the function to actually send it off. So we're going to use Firebase set here with the ref. We're going to call ref, we're going to reference database first, and then we are going to do a backtick. We want to create a polls with the S, and then we're also going to create ID, so it's unique now. Poll ID, and that's the key. So then the value is going to be poll data object we just created right now. Cool. And then after that, we'll do a redirect to the voting page. But I will do this in a little bit. Actually, let's do it now. So it's just gonna be router.push, pretty much, very simple. And then here, it just where do you want to put push or redirect your user to? So /vote. We haven't created this yet, but we'll do /poll/vote, and then we'll just get the poll ID. So that's how the page will know which poll to load the data for. Cool, very simple. All right, so let's do that. Saved it. So it looks like we haven't actually initialized the database. So we're just going to simply do a const db is equal to get database. So this is going to be for the real-time database. And all we can do is pass the app for const. All right, cool. Now this should export the database for us. All right, so now this is not yelling at us. Let me close this. Cool. And just to keep it clean, I'll close that as well. All right, so I think we can test it. So let me think. This one is going to break, but besides that, everything else should work. So before this breaks, let's just create the poll new folder. So we'll just create a vote, and we'll create a page here. So for this, we're just simply going to do no imports for now. So let's do export default. I think this is also use client there, but let's do export default. and we're gonna do a function. This is not the create. This is the, what are we doing here? This is the, not create, the vote. It's the vote page. So we're just gonna return, and then we'll just do a div with a h1 voting. Alright, so now this should not error because we have this file now. Poll, not this one, poll vote, and we got, well, actually, we need another one here. This is going to be ID, right? This is what I did. Let's do poll ID. We just move this here. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, anyways. That should not error. Okay. Let's give it a try. So we'll create a title of something. So just say new poll. And we'll add choices. What's up with this? So I forgot the whole section where choices, because we can't see the choices. That's because we never displayed them. So let's start with a map, and we'll do a choice, and then we'll do an index. Cool, so now we'll just open this up. We're going to create a div here, and just close it out. Oops, /div. Alright, so then here we're going to need an input. Let's do a type is equal to text. Placeholder is going to be, whoops, so this will be a little bit dynamic. That's why we're going to use backtick. So choice, this will be, we're going to use string literals, string templates here. Index plus 1. Alright, so let's just close it out so it stops erroring out. What's wrong with this? Okay, so it's missing a key, so let's just put the key index. Now it's happy. Alright, so we got placeholder, and then here value is going to be the choice. See, can't spell right now, choice. And then on change, let's just get the formatting right. So on change. So on change, what do we want to do? We want to do, let's first grab the event. Then we're going to do updated choices is equal to all the choices first. Right, and then we're going to update it. We're just going to get all the choices first, and then we're going to do the choice at index, and we're going to update it to e.target.value. So it just means that we're going to update whichever choice we're currently on, and then we're just going to set it up. We're just going to set what happened here. Set choices, and we will just set this up here. Cool. Hopefully this was not confusing. Updated choices. I named this thing wrong. So now I have to update this too. Cool. It just means that we're going to grab whatever choice we're currently trying to edit, and then we're going to do it local here first. So we're going to edit it locally. Then in this local state, we're going to update all the choices by just updating choices, right? Cool. All right, so that's that. And we're just going to add one more button here. So to remove a choice. See, I didn't want to keep that choice. We'll just do remove. Here, we're going to add some styles in a second. We'll do on click first. So on click, it's going to be set choices. So we can just do something simple such as filter. It's going to filter out. And we don't technically need the first one, so we'll just do the index that we need. So if the index is not current index. Cool, so we're going to filter out the current one. So just test it out. Let's do new poll. Let's do, should make it just like a food thing. Let's do food, pizza. All right, let's do a Coke. Okay, let's just to test it. Pizza does get removed. Choice 2 gets removed. Cool. So the color is kind of bad. Now let's just add some styling in these. So for the div, we're just gonna do a simple styling here. Class name. Just gonna do flex again. Gap 4. And then we're gonna do a flex. Whoops. Flex row. All right. So now the input. Let's do class name. Text black. Because the color is not black right now. This is probably because of the global styling, maybe, I think. But that's fine. Too lazy for that for the moment. And then we're gonna do a class name here. We're just gonna add some border. As well as padding. Cool. Now it just looks like the above. Alright, so I think this should be good. Now we don't need that. Let's work on this page because we were able to get there, but we haven't displayed anything here. So this is the next fun part of this. All right, so we got the poll ID in the blog. I named it ID, so let me just rename it here. Just do. I think I did a lowercase ID. Cool, so now for this, let's get some imports going. Let's set the state first. So we're gonna need const, we're gonna do a poll set poll. For this, we're gonna use state. And I'm gonna get a poll here. So what does a poll look like? Just gonna create a quick interface here, a TypeScript interface. So poll is gonna be just as title, that's a string. And then choices is what we talked about earlier, so it's text string as well as a count. I think I have everything uppercase earlier. Let me fix that. Alright, so now that poll should be good. Just we haven't used it, so it's squiggly. So now poll is used. Perfect. We have the poll, and now let's grab the ID that we get from the what do you call that? From the params. Cool. Now we have the ID as well. Let's start with building the inside of this first. So, just to test if we're getting it, we'll do a post the title here, just to see it. Let's just do that for now. So we have that, and let's actually go to this. So it should. Let's see here. Where is our database? This was the one we created earlier, that new poll. Well, let's make actual poll on it. What is your favorite food? So let's kind of make it legit here. Pizza. Let's do, what else we have? Chips. Do like one more here. Pizza, chips, and ice cream. Can't go wrong with these. Cool. Now let's just create the poll. This page is broken. I think it's because there's nothing here, so let's just do a P. What happened? This is not found. I think it's because we're not actually pulling anything in there. What did I do? This page doesn't exist. We have it right here. I think. What is it? Let me try something. If there's no poll, then return. I think it just doesn't have anything, so it's not showing it. No. What's the error here? You can't use different slug names. Do I just need to restart this? Poll ID does not equal ID. think I just need to restart that. Yeah, okay. So it's because we renamed this from poll ID to ID, so I just have to restart it. Anyways, we're back in business. So currently the poll is empty to start off with, but we haven't made a call to database. So let's just do that right now. So use effect. All right, so now we can actually do some fun stuff here. So we can get if there's no ID, then just return. Cool. But if there is, we're gonna get it now. Const. First, let's get the poll ref. So ref, we're gonna reference the database, and then here we're gonna do a poll. Right, we called it polls / and then whatever the timestamp was. So thankfully, it's get that on the params up top. So now on value, it's a Firebase function here. So we're gonna get this from the real-time database, so we can get a snapshot. And then we're gonna set the poll. So every time this changes, I'm just gonna reset it. A snapshot or update. Cool. So that should work. If you highlight it, you can get more details on this. But basically, you're subscribing to this reference here, and if it does change, it's gonna update as well. It's listening for changes. And then here, it's based on if the ID changes, right? So we want to use effect, and if the ID changes here, we want to actually re-trigger the effect, grab the new ID, the new poll ID, and then now we see that initially it's loading. This text might be small, but initially it's loading, and now it's actually grabbing it. What is your favorite food? So that's the poll we created. Cool. So it looks like it's getting hooked up, and now let's actually get the poll items, or we call it choices. So now let's do a map choice, and then we'll get the index. It's probably gonna come in handy for delete, like earlier. So we'll do a div. Let's create the other div, and this is probably gonna tell us about the key again. So we'll just do index. Here we're gonna get some buttons. We can vote on it. And for now, just do a plus here. Now we want to display a couple of things. So with the choice, choice.text. And then here we're just going to do choice.count. So however many votes this one choice has. Cool. So this looks ugly because we haven't styled it yet. So we can get to that, but and also we don't have a on click on this yet. So why don't we just quickly add that on click? So on click, what we want to do is we want to vote. Why is it capital V? Thought we had a vote here. Oh, we haven't created the function yet, but we can create the function now. Let's do that. Actually, so const vote is equal to async. Here we can get the index, which is just a number. Hubs arrow function. So then const choice ref is equal to reference the database. This is polls / this current ID / choices. We have to key into it, right? So we're gonna key into the correct index here. All right, so now that's the reference for that choice. So now we're gonna do a const. We're gonna grab the poll submits ref as well. So here we're gonna do a ref database poll / same thing, just ID. Cool. We have two things that we need to update. So the however many votes it has, as well as the actual which choice needed to be updated. So let's start with update. Let's do the choice ref, and then we'll just do a count. All right, so we're going to increment it by 1 here, and then we're going to do the same thing, update, but for the polls. So every time this function gets called, we want to add one more vote to the total list. Oh, whoops, incr increment 1. So what did, I just want to check something. How do we name it? So we did underscore. Okay. Just want to make sure this is consistent. It's either camel case or a snake case. Alright, so the vote should technically work. This is just because of TypeScript here. We won't worry about the TypeScript right now. Cool, so now let's just get some styling in, and then technically this should work. So let's just, the plus is for that. No, it doesn't work yet. Oh, we never actually, we never called it with the proper index, so that's why it's not working. Alright, so we have ice cream here, we have this. And then just to create an incognito here, we'll just create one. And now we can see real time. So I'm going to click on the right, but look at the left. I mean, I said that backwards. I'm going to click on the left side, but look on the right side. So plus on the pizza. And you can see that it's updating on the right side, but I'm clicking on the left, right? It just means that this is updating real time in this other browser, other session is subscribed. So now if we create multiple, or a third one, it should still work. Cool, now it's updating your reels. Alright, so we know that real time is working here. Just want to add a little bit of styling, clean it up. And yeah, it's pretty easy to get the real-time database working once you know how to set it up and how to, some of the functions that it gives you. So this is a very simple example, but this example can go a long way for most of the basic apps, especially to build out your portfolio. Oh, whoops, what did I do? So let's just do some styling here. We can do font black, text center, pretty much the same stylings we've been doing. Border 4, flex, flex.row, p-4, and those are the items.center. And then for the button, just want to do it quick. Class name, border-4, p-4, did. And then some right padding. Cool. What else we got? Oh, we got these two. Last name, this is going to be just font-bold. So I had these class names already and from my blog. That's why I'm like blazing through it. P-4, text dash, let's make it green. Do 500. Alright, so now it should look a little bit decent. Could be better, but you know, it works. And let's see, so this is working. So one thing we haven't done is how do we see or manage all the polls we have running or that we've created, right? So we don't have a homepage for that, which is why we're going to create one right now. So, yes, that's fine for now, but I'm going to kind of update this. So let's just delete what's in here. Let's start with a clean div. Alright, that gave it for us. And what else do we need? We need a couple of things. The first, we need to be able to go to the create link page, but let's just start off with the home page here. Just to have it rendered. So we have a home page running. Alright, so now we're going to do a link. This is going to be create poll. Then we'll do href is equal to /poll/create. So we just want to take them there. Let's see if this works. Create poll. Will that work? Create another div. So here we're going to get all the polls that we've created. So let's do a state first. Set polls. Use state, and we're just going to do an object at the moment. So let's run a use effect here. cool. Now, with Firebase, you go to the ref first. So let's do a poll ref is equal to ref db, and just get all the polls pretty much. So then on value, meaning it's listening for changes. So on value, we're gonna do a reference first, and then get the snapshot. All right. Technically, you can name it anything, but in Firebase, it's called snapshot. So const whatever the data is we're getting from this, the snapshot dot value. So if there is data, we can set the polls to that, and then else if we're getting nothing from Firebase, then we're just going to set the polls to just an empty object. What is up with this? I think it's TypeScript here. I spelled it wrong. All right, cool. So now we have that. There is one error. What's the error? Maximum depth. I think I don't have a missing. This is just like infinite loop here. Yeah, now the error's gone. Cool. So now the fun part is to actually show all that. So we're just gonna do a object.keys. So all the objects. And for that, we're gonna do polls. We're gonna run it for the length of it. So as long as there is more than one object in our state, we're gonna run this. So then we can do a object.entries. On the polls again. So we're gonna get the entries of that, and then we're gonna map through everything. Whoops. Just ID. And let's see how this one. And then we just get the link to it, so we can link to the actual poll. So we'll do a /poll/ vote, and then we'll get to the ID of it. Right, so then we'll do poll.title. Poll title. I think this is TypeScript here. What is up with this? Because I have a ternary, but not the other one. So if there's no, then we'll just do like no polls available. Create a new poll. I think now this is just squiggly because of the error with keys, so we can just do ID. And this should be unique. Just to clean it up. So bring it in home. I'm gonna quickly blaze through the styling on this. H full, justify, center, gap, or flex, call, and we have a padding 12. Cool, that's that. And then for this link, last name, we're just gonna do a border and padding on it. All right, so it's looking much better. So let's do a flex here again. So we're working a lot with flex right now. Gap 4, width full, max width large. Cool. So now we just gotta style one more thing. Class name, border, padding 4, text center, and then just for fun, we'll add a hover. The background could be something like gray. Gray-900. So you know you're over it. Cool. And yeah, everything's working. New poll. Let's just give some votes here. And I believe this will also, whoops, no, not delete. This will update real time here as well, so. Yep. So pretty easy, pretty straightforward. It's not that bad. Right, we had the polls, we had the ID, we had the choices here, and then we had the other ID that we created, a second poll. We have the choices, we have the title, poll submits, how many times a vote was submitted for this poll, and then everything else just works as well. So cool, I think that's the end of it. If you guys wanted to, you guys can update the styling and just add more to it. So now, just to recap, you have the home page where you can create a poll and view it. Like if you wanted to share this, so someone else can vote on it, you can share the link if it was live. But what we don't have is like a timer. How long is this vote open for? So that could be another cool feature there. Another thing is like deleting polls. That shouldn't be too bad. You can delete using one of the Firebase functions. And yeah, so I'm going to pause here. Cool. And real quick before I end off, just want to give a quick shout out to my dev page. That's the website where you guys can go and build your portfolio for free. So I built this website and I'm making a lot of improvements and updates here. So go there, sign up, it's free. Get yourself a nice portfolio page in just a few minutes. And these are a little bit older UI, but I'm making a lot of improvements here. So we have a free version and a paid version that gives you more stuff. But I think it's very affordable. Let me know in the comments if you do try it, what you think, any improvements. Let me know in the comments. Well, thank you. See you on the next one.